I remember those days so vividly, bathed in what I thought was pure, unadulterated happiness. My life felt perfect, a carefully constructed mosaic of love, laughter, and unwavering friendship. Mark, my fiancé, was my rock, my future, and the man I truly believed I would spend forever with. And Sarah, my best friend since childhood, was the sister I never had, an irreplaceable pillar in my life. We were a trio, always together, always supporting each other. Yet, there was this tiny, almost imperceptible tremor beneath the surface, a fleeting glance, a hushed word that lingered a fraction too long, that would occasionally prick at the edges of my perfect world. I dismissed it, of course, as paranoia, a silly insecurity that had no place in such a beautiful life. Oh, how desperately I wished I hadn't. The tremors grew, slowly, insidiously, until they were impossible to ignore. Mark and Sarah started having these inside jokes that left me feeling like an outsider in my own life. They'd exchange knowing glances, their voices dropping to whispers when I entered the room, only to abruptly change the subject, feigning innocence with forced smiles. Mark became evasive about his whereabouts, claiming late work nights or guy time, which was unusual for him. Sarah, my once transparent confidant, suddenly had secrets, her phone clutched protectively, her gaze darting away whenever I asked about her day. My gut screamed, a primal, warning cry that something was terribly wrong, but my heart, so desperate to believe in their goodness, kept trying to rationalize it away. They're just closer now, I'd tell myself, it's harmless. But the gnawing dread was becoming a constant companion. The truth, as it often does, revealed itself in the smallest, most innocuous details. I was tidying up the living room, a mundane chore, when I found a small, intricately carved wooden bird tucked between the cushions of our sofa. It wasn't mine, nor Mark's. My heart immediately clenched. Then, a chilling wave of recognition washed over me. Sarah had a collection of these, gifts from her globetrotting aunt. It was unmistakably hers. Why was it here, hidden? My hands trembled as I picked it up, feeling a cold dread seep into my bones. This wasn't just a forgotten item, it was a misplaced piece of a puzzle I never wanted to solve. The innocent explanations I'd clung to began to crumble, replaced by a terrifying certainty that something sinister was unfolding right under my nose. My breath caught in my throat, a silent scream building inside me. Armed with this damning evidence, I tried to confront them, not directly, not yet, but with a desperate, probing gentleness. I brought up the wooden bird, feigning casual curiosity, watching their reactions with hawk-like intensity. Mark stammered, his eyes darting to Sarah, who quickly interjected with a flimsy excuse about dropping it off the other day when she visited while I was out. The lie was so transparent, so poorly constructed, it was an insult to my intelligence. Their synchronized evasiveness, the way their eyes refused to meet mine, spoke volumes more than their fumbling words. My chest felt tight, an invisible hand squeezing the air from my lungs. The truth, ugly and raw, was beginning to crystallize, and the pain was an immediate, sharp stab. It felt like I was watching my entire world shatter in slow motion, powerless to stop it. The facade crumbled completely one rainy Tuesday evening. Mark had supposedly gone for a late-night jog, and Sarah was working overtime. But something in my gut screamed betrayal. I followed him, my heart a terrified drum against my ribs, each beat echoing the impending doom. And there it was, a sight that etched itself into my memory with agonizing clarity, burning away every last shred of my innocence. His car, parked discreetly down a secluded street, near Sarah's apartment building. And then, through her living room window, illuminated by the soft glow of a lamp, I saw them. Mark, my fiancé, holding Sarah, my best friend, in an embrace that was anything but platonic. Their lips met, tenderly, intimately. My world imploded. The air left my lungs, my legs gave out, and I crumpled to the wet pavement, the rain washing over my face, indistinguishable from the torrent of tears. I don't remember how I got home, only the blinding rage and soul-crushing despair that propelled me through the door. When Mark finally walked in, feigning exhaustion from his jog, I confronted him, the words torn from my throat in a raw, guttural scream. "How could you?" I shrieked, the wooden bird I still clutched in my hand shaking violently. His face, initially composed, dissolved into a mask of guilt and shame. He tried to deny it, to spin some pathetic lie, but the sheer force of my agony broke through. When I mentioned seeing them together, his shoulders slumped, defeated. His silence was the loudest confession. The betrayal was real, a physical wound in my chest. He stood there, a stranger in the home we built, while I collapsed, my heart shattering into a million irreparable pieces. The life I thought I had, the love I cherished, was a cruel, elaborate deception. The days that followed were a blur of unimaginable pain, a suffocating fog that refused to lift. Every corner of our apartment, once filled with the warmth of our shared future, now screamed of his deceit. Every memory of Sarah, my sister, was tainted with the bitter taste of her treachery. I felt physically ill, the betrayal a toxic poison coursing through my veins, making it hard to breathe, hard to eat, hard to simply exist. The world felt muted, drained of color, echoing the emptiness inside me. I stared at our engagement ring, a symbol of a promise utterly obliterated, and wondered how I could have been so blind, so foolish. The weight of their deception pressed down on me, heavy and relentless, threatening to crush whatever spirit I had left. My trust, once boundless, was now a jagged, shattered mess, bleeding out in the wreckage of my life. Weeks turned into months, and slowly, agonizingly, I started to pick up the pieces, one shard at a time. The pain was still a constant companion, a dull ache that never truly disappeared, but the suffocating intensity began to wane. I learned to breathe again, to eat again, to slowly, hesitantly, begin to live again. The memory of their betrayal will forever be a scar, a stark reminder of the darkest chapter of my life. But it also forged a new strength within me, a resilience I never knew I possessed. I lost a fiancé and a best friend, but I gained a profound, albeit painful, understanding of self-worth and the importance of truly seeing people for who they are, not who you desperately want them to be. This wasn't the end of my story, it was merely the devastating, yet ultimately transformative, beginning of a new one, a story where I am the author of my own healing.